Welcome to our channel, my dear viewers. We have a frightfully fun treat in store for you all today. Are you willing to explore the spooky and eerie realm of Halloween makeup? Buttercups, fasten your seatbelts because we're about to take you on a thrilling ride. However, there's still more. We will unearth the horrifying and terrifying tale of the makeup artist's curse as we delve deeper into the world of cosmetics. It's going to be a bumpy and terrifying ride, so grab some popcorn and a cross. Prepare to be frightened as we investigate the world of Halloween makeup and the spooky tales that served as inspiration. Click the subscribe button to see more creepy videos.
I can still feel the chill down my spine as I recall the events of that fateful Halloween. It all started innocently enough, a group of friends looking to perfect their costumes for the biggest night of the year. But when we hired a mysterious makeup artist, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. One by one, we found ourselves unable to remove the makeup that had been applied to our skin, and soon we began to experience strange and terrifying changes. We grew hair where there was none before, our teeth became sharp and pointed, and our eyes seemed to glow in the darkness. It was as if we had become creatures of the night, forever trapped in our Halloween personas. Desperate to break the curse and return to our normal lives, we delved deeper into the dark powers behind the makeup artist's magic. But as we uncovered the truth, we realized that we had made a grave mistake, one that could cost us our very souls. In this tale of horror and magic, we faced the consequences of our curiosity and learned the true cost of seeking out the unknown. So come with me, if you dare, and relive the nightmare that was forever Halloween, the curse of the makeup artist. I sat nervously in Jane's living room, surrounded by my friends. We were all trying to come up with the perfect Halloween costume ideas, but it wasn't going well.
I want to be a zombie cheerleader,
said Jane, waving her pom-poms excitedly.
I'm thinking of being a vampire,
said Dave, who had just finished binge-watching a popular vampire series. Tim continued, flexing his muscles.
I want to be a werewolf.
We all thought our ideas were brilliant, but then we were confronted with reality. Particularly when it came to makeup, we had no notion how to carry it out. Jane asked with a frown on her face.
How are we going to do the makeup?
As soon as I recognized we were in over our heads, my heart rate increased. We were a bunch of novices who had no actual makeup expertise. We all agreed with Dave's suggestion to watch YouTube makeup lessons. We all opened up different lessons on our phones and watched in terror as the makeup artists meticulously detailed and applied realistic effects to themselves to create grotesque creatures. I felt so overwhelmed that I replied, I don't think we can do this.
Tim remarked.
We have to try.
And his tenacity motivated us all. The following few hours were spent trying to follow the tutorials, but it was a complete failure. Tim's werewolf makeup looked like a tangled mess, Dave's vampire makeup made him appear to have a black eye, and Jane's zombie cheerleader makeup made her appear more like a clown.
We need professional help,
declared Dave, and we all nodded in agreement. That's when we stumbled upon a mysterious makeup artist online. Her portfolio was impressive, with makeup designs that looked straight out of a horror movie.
I don't know, guys, this seems a little sketchy,
said Jane, her eyes widening. But we were desperate, and we agreed to meet with the makeup artist. We traveled apprehensively to the artist's studio on the day of the meeting. I had a chill as we entered the dimly illuminated space. We were too terrified to turn around at this point, despite the artist's eerie atmosphere. The artist remarked in a low, creepy voice.
Hello, dear friends. My name is Mara, and I exclusively work with strange beings.
Despite our anxious stares, we chose to accept it. We became werewolves, zombies, and vampires without even realizing it. We stepped out of the makeup artist's studio, feeling like we had just entered a new world. The makeup was so realistic that we almost forgot that we were still ourselves underneath it all. We had become the creatures of our wildest Halloween dreams. We couldn't wait to show off our looks to our friends and family, and we didn't have to wait long. As soon as we arrived at Dave's Halloween party, everyone was in awe of our makeup. We received compliments left and right, and we basked in the attention. My vampire makeup was so convincing that my aunt asked me if I had really become a vampire. I couldn't help but laugh, feeling like I had pulled off the ultimate Halloween prank. Jane's zombie cheerleader makeup was a hit with everyone, and she even won the prize for the best costume at the party. Tim's werewolf makeup was so realistic that his own mother didn't recognize him at first. That evening, we had a great time partying it up by dancing, drinking, and generally having a wonderful time. We couldn't have been happier when the topic of our cosmetics came up during the conversation at the party. But as the night progressed, we became aware of something that seemed out of the ordinary. No matter how hard we tried, we found that our makeup was slowly becoming an extension of our skin. It was almost as if it were a second skin. We dismissed it, thinking it was just the superior cosmetics we had applied. But as the days went by, we came to see that there was a severe problem. As soon as our family and friends noticed that our makeup was still on, they began to worry. We were too afraid to disclose what we had done, despite their encouragement to visit a doctor. The cosmetics began to have unexpected adverse effects on us. Tim's nails grew longer and sharper, Jane couldn't stop drooling, and I got an insatiable need for blood. We kept having fun with our new identities, despite the anomalies. We even increased our attendance at Halloween parties and other gatherings as we savored our recent reputation. But as Halloween got nearer, we started to understand that we couldn't maintain our lie indefinitely. Every day, our relatives and friends were becoming more concerned, and we were unable to deny how our bodies were changing. We were aware that the makeup's effects had to be undone, but we had no idea where to begin. We knew our Halloween experience was far from done because we were in over our heads. I couldn't help but notice something odd as I peered into the mirror. It appeared as though my makeup was fusing with my skin and becoming a part of me. I initially believed it to be a simple optical illusion, but as I felt my face, I understood it to be genuine. I tried to remove the makeup with a cloth, but it was stubborn. It appeared to have merged with my body. To my dismay, I promptly called my friends to find out whether they were going through the same thing. We noticed another thing while we stood in the restroom and stared at one another's faces. Our features were enlarging and growing more grotesque. My companion, who had donned a zombie costume, now resembled an actual zombie, complete with decaying skin and missing teeth. My companions and I both shouted because we couldn't help it. We found ourselves chuckling as we simultaneously experienced fear due to how naive we all were. We appeared to be characters straight out of a horror movie. But as soon as we realized this wasn't a joke, the laughter quickly died down. We had serious problems, and we didn't know how to fix them. We chose to conduct some research and discovered that Mara, the makeup artist we had hired, was said to possess dark skills. With her cosmetics, she purportedly possessed the ability to curse individuals, transforming them permanently into different forms. We came to the conclusion that we were not the only ones having this problem as we gained more information about Mara's previous clients and became aware of their experiences. There were others who had been swayed by her allure and were destined to spend the rest of their lives clad in the garb of characters from the tales she told. When I discovered this, my feeling of dread just intensified. We didn't want to spend the rest of our lives giving people the impression that we were monstrosities, so we avoided doing things that might give that impression. It was necessary for us to discover a way to free ourselves from the enchantment that had been placed upon us. But as we tried to come up with a plan, things only seemed to get worse. Our senses were becoming more acute, and our bodies were changing in unexpected ways. My friend, who dressed up as a cat, was starting to grow actual fur and claws, while I was developing strange cravings for raw meat. We knew we had to act fast, so we decided to confront Mara and demand that she remove the curse. But when we arrived at her studio, it was deserted. The walls were covered in strange symbols, and there was an eerie feeling in the air. As we searched for Mara, we stumbled upon a hidden room filled with dark magic books and potion ingredients. We realized that Mara was not just a makeup artist but a powerful witch who had cursed us with her magic. We knew we had to break the curse ourselves, but we had no idea how. It was then that one of us found a recipe in one of the books for a potion that could break any curse. We gathered the ingredients and started brewing the potion. It was a difficult and dangerous process, but we were determined to break the curse and regain our normal lives. As we drank the potion, we felt a strange sensation throughout our bodies. It was like we were being pulled in different directions, and we knew that something had changed. But we didn't know what. It wasn't until we looked in the mirror that we realized the horrifying truth: the curse of the makeup artist had left its mark on us forever. Our faces were permanently transformed, and there was nothing we could do about it. My friend, who had dressed up as a devil, now had horns and a forked tongue, while I had sharp teeth and glowing eyes. We were like creatures from another world, trapped in our Halloween costumes for all eternity. We didn't know what to do, but we knew that we couldn't let anyone else fall victim to Mara's curse. We decided to search for her and confront her once and for all. As we looked at each other in anticipation, we suddenly heard a loud cackle. We turned around and saw Mara standing in the doorway with a wicked smile on her face.
You thought you could break my curse? You foolish mortals.
She said, her voice dripping with malice.
You will never be free from my magic. You are mine forever.
We knew that we were in trouble, but we didn't know how to fight back against such a powerful witch. We were trapped in our Halloween costumes, and there was no escape. Mara's wicked cackle echoed through the room, and we knew that we were in grave danger. We tried to run, but our transformed bodies made it impossible. We were trapped, and there was no way out. Mara approached us slowly, her eyes glowing with a malevolent light.
You thought you could break my curse? You thought you could escape my power? Foolish mortals!
She said, angry. We knew that we had to fight back, but we had no idea how. We were just a group of teenagers transformed into monsters by a powerful witch. How could we possibly stand up to her? My friend, who had dressed up as a witch, had an idea. She remembered something she had read in one of the books about a spell that could weaken a witch's power. We gathered our strength and recited the spell, pouring all of our energy into it. It was a risky move, but it was our only hope. As we finished the incantation, we felt a surge of power coursing through us. Mara's eyes widened in surprise, and we knew that our plan had worked. But we couldn't celebrate yet. We still had to break the curse and regain our normal lives. We asked Mara how to break the curse, but she just laughed at us.
You think I'll tell you how to break it? You'll be mine forever.
She said, her voice dripping with malice. We were aware that in order to break the curse on our own, we would need to devise a plan. We looked through all of the books that were in Mara's workshop in an attempt to find any hints. Then we came upon it, a spell that had the potential to reverse any curse, but at a very high price. We were unaware of the amount that it would cost, but we were aware that there was no other option available to us.
We gathered the necessary components, then began chanting the magic while focusing all of our attention and vitality on it. Even though it was a challenging and perhaps life-threatening process, we were resolved to lift the curse and get our lives back to normal.
After we had completed reciting the spell, we experienced a strong surge of power, and suddenly the room became completely dark. As soon as we opened our eyes, we were back in our original bodies, unshackled from the yoke that the makeup artist had placed on us. But we were aware that winning our independence had not come without a cost. We gazed at each other, relieved but yet eerily haunted by the memories of what we had just been through. We knew that we would never be able to forget the lesson that we had been taught, which was that Halloween magic can be entertaining, but it can also be dangerous, and that we should never put our lives in the hands of someone else without exercising extreme caution. As we looked around the studio, we could see the remnants of our Halloween transformation. The walls were scorched, the furniture was destroyed, and the floor was covered in a thick layer of dust. We knew that we had paid a heavy price to break the curse, but we didn't know what the cost would be. We looked at each other, wondering what had happened during the spell. Suddenly, we heard a voice behind us. It was Mara, standing in the doorway with a twisted smile on her face.
I see.
She said,
It looks like you broke the curse. Congratulations. But did you really think it would be that easy?
We tried to run, but Mara was too fast. She pointed her wand at us, and we felt a surge of power coursing through our bodies. Our screams echoed through the studio as we felt ourselves transforming once again. We looked down at our hands and saw that they had turned into claws. Our teeth were sharp and pointed, and our skin was covered in fur. Mara couldn't contain her giddy laughter.
You thought you could free yourself from my enchantment, didn't you? You thought you could get away from my control, didn't you? Stupid mortals!
She shouted at us. We were aware that we needed to put up a fight, but we were at a loss as to how. Once again, a powerful witch had turned us into monsters from our human forms, and we were merely a gang of youngsters. As we made our way out of the recording studio, we were still attempting to put together the pieces of what had just occurred. We were having trouble recalling recent events because our recollections were foggy, and we couldn't remember anything about the past few days. But there was one thing that was crystal clear: we had to figure out a method to stop Mara. Then we noticed something glinting on her neck, and that's when we realized what it was. It turned out to be an amulet, which was an item we had never seen before. Mara hastily covered the amulet with her palm as soon as she appeared to notice that we were interested in it.
What's that?
One of us asked. Mara hesitated for a moment before replying.
It's just a trinket. Nothing important.
But we knew better. We could feel the power emanating from the amulet. We had to get our hands on it if we wanted to stop Mara and break the curse for good. We tried to reason with her, but Mara refused to hand over the amulet. She became more desperate as we persisted, making it clear that the amulet was important to her. It was then that we realized that the amulet was the key to Mara's power. Without it, she was just an ordinary witch. With it, she was almost unstoppable. We knew that we had to take the amulet from her, no matter the cost. We hatched a plan, using our newfound monster abilities to distract her while one of us snatched the amulet from her neck. It was a risky move, but it worked. We had the amulet in our possession, and Mara was powerless without it. She pleaded with us to return it, promising to undo the curse and leave us alone. But we knew better than to trust her again. We had been burned once, and we weren't going to let it happen again. We left Mara behind, holding the amulet tightly in our hands. It was our only hope of breaking the curse and returning to our normal lives. As we walked away from the studio, we could feel Mara's desperate eyes watching us. We knew that she wouldn't give up so easily. But we were ready for whatever she threw at us. We had each other, and we had the amulet. And that was enough to face any Halloween challenge that came our way. As we fled from Mara's sight, one of us suddenly stopped in our tracks. We all turned to see what was wrong. "I think we're back to normal," they stuttered. We all looked at each other in disbelief. It was true, our skin was smooth, our teeth were normal, and our claws had disappeared. It was as if the curse had never happened. And then we realized, it must be the amulet. Holding it broke the curse and restored us to our original selves. We couldn't believe it. After all we had been through, it was over just like that. We were relieved, but also a little disappointed. We had been expecting a grand finale, a showdown with Mara where we would prove ourselves heroes. But instead, it was only the two of us, crouching in the middle of a deserted street while holding a minuscule amulet. To put it mildly, it did not live up to our expectations. We made the decision to head back to our respective homes with the expectation that things would eventually return to normal. However, as we strolled along, we couldn't shake the sense that something wasn't quite right. When we came back to the house and looked at ourselves in the mirror, we finally understood what it was. Even though we were no longer monsters, we had all undergone a number of minor transformations. One of us had hairs on our skin that were slightly denser than usual, and another of us had a scar on the back of his neck that wasn't there before. It was as though the curse had left an imprint on us that would never go away. But we didn't care. Simply being alive and returning to our human form brought us immense joy. We not only had each other, but we also got our lives back to normal. That evening, while we were getting ready for bed, we couldn't help but giggle at the absurdity of all that had happened. Even though it had been the most chaotic Halloween we had ever experienced, we had made it through unscathed. And who can say for sure? If we were to hire makeup artists for the next Halloween, perhaps we would do it with a bit more caution. Days passed, and we all tried to move on from the Halloween nightmare that had befallen us. But for me, something was still bothering me. I couldn't shake the feeling that we had left something unresolved. So I went back to Mara's apartment, hoping to find some answers. But when I got there, the place was deserted. It was as if she had never even lived there. As I turned to leave, something caught my eye. In the corner of the room, there was a black cat staring at me intently. It was the same cat that had been with Mara on the night of the curse. Suddenly, a shiver ran down my spine as a thought entered my mind. What if Mara was still here, transformed into this cat? It seemed crazy, but after everything we had been through, I couldn't dismiss it.
I approached the cat slowly, but it didn't move. Its eyes never left me, and it almost seemed as if it was trying to communicate with me.
I reached out to pet it, but as soon as my hand touched its fur, the cat hissed and scratched me. I stumbled back, shocked. That's when I noticed something glinting on the cat's collar. It was a tiny amulet, just like the one we had used to break the curse. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. Mara must have been transformed into this cat when we took the amulet from her. And now, without the amulet, she was stuck like this forever. I realized that we couldn't let anyone else get their hands on the amulet. If we lost it, the curse could come back, and who knows what would happen then. I carefully removed the amulet from the cat's collar, and as I did, the cat let out a pained yowl. It was as if Mara was screaming in agony. I quickly left the apartment, the amulet clutched tightly in my hand. As I walked away, I could feel the cat's eyes on me, watching me leave. I knew that we had made the right decision, but the weight of what we had gone through still hung heavy on my shoulders. It was a reminder that sometimes even the smallest choices could have the biggest consequences. I kept the amulet close to me, never letting it out of my sight. And as time passed, we all moved on from the nightmare of that Halloween. But I knew that Mara's transformation would stay with me forever, a constant reminder of the dangers of magic and the price we paid for our curiosity.
We appreciate you coming along on this scary tour of the Halloween makeup industry and the frightening tales that influenced it. We sincerely hope you have enjoyed seeing this video and have been motivated to experiment with different Halloween makeup looks. To spread the Halloween spirit, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends and family. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel so you can see more eerie videos like this one. We hope you have a fun and safe Halloween that is full of all the frights and chills you could ask for. Stay eerie until we speak again.